Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me for Wednesday morning's pre-market strategy session and stock market analysis. If you joined me yesterday morning, Tuesday, which was the first day of the week after the long holiday weekend, I mentioned that the previous five first days of the week, previous 5 Mondays, we've seen a narrow range on the SPY of about 3 to 3.25 points with light volume. So if we look at yesterday's SPY activity, we'll see that the top was $438.37 and the bottom was $435.03, implying a range of about $3.34, which falls right in line with the past 5 Mondays. So let's take it to today being Wednesday, but it's the second trading day of the week. So what generally happens after a trading day like Monday, patterns tend to repeat themselves. So me personally, I'm looking for about 3.5 to 4 points on the SPY as far as the range goes. Meaning, if you find the bottom of the SPY range, let's just give you, for example, the SPY bottom today is 437 and we bounce off 437. If we look at 4 points to the upper echelon or the top of the SPY range today, I would think we would hit 441. With that said, it is a stock picker's market, and it's even more important than ever that you use flows and algorithms to help you determine whether a position is good to enter or bad to enter. So I'm going to share that information shortly with you, but let's talk about what's going on with the market first. China mentioned another package for electric vehicles, which is why you're seeing Tesla, Li Auto, NEO even. Remember, NEO had terrible earnings reports, yet it spiked from $7.70 all the way up past $9.50. It was back in the $8 range. But again, they're buying NEO, Li, Xpeng. Any Chinese automaker is kind of getting a boost. I've heard people talk about Rivian. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, about 8 or 9 trading days, I mentioned Rivian at $14.50. It went south of $14 and now is above $15.50 and so on. So what other stocks are moving the market this week? Again, it's extremely important you use the flow and algos room to help you determine stocks because it is a stock picker's market. There are certain stocks indices that are going up where there are other industries that are battling right now. So we can get to that real quick. We can mention Bitcoin, okay? After watching BlackRock, Fidelity, Citadel, Charles Schwab, now Deutsche Bank, all apply for Bitcoin ETFs, spot exchanges, only a few days after the SEC dropped on Binance and they're suing Coinbase. It makes me think that the past year is like a coordinated effort from Wall Street to hold down Bitcoin. Now, with that said, again, when we're looking at stock picks recently, going back a few days, when Citadel, Fidelity, and BlackRock announced that they're coming out or they're going to apply with the SEC for Bitcoin ETFs, and then we had others follow suit. You've seen Bitcoin push up from 25,500 back to the 28,900 range, almost 29,000. So when you look at certain plays that could be profitable, again, I stay away from Coinbase, but we've seen Coinbase go from $52 probably to about 58 or 59 this morning. I would rather have been involved with Mara and Riot, okay, two lesser plays, or even a larger company like MicroStrategy, MSTR, which is only purchasing Bitcoin and has the intellectual property. With that said, there are other stock plays that I'd be staying away from. For example, you're seeing NVIDIA and Tesla rip higher day after day. There's no reason to short or to buy puts against the most strong or most aggressive stocks in the market, the ones that are spiking higher. It's not like I'm opposed to buying puts. Remember, I've been a bear for a number of weeks. Again, no emotion at the side. But if I'm going to enter into put positions, and I have, and I was short Google, which I got out of yesterday with profit, and now I'm bullish a couple of different option plays going into today, and they're doing okay, this morning pre-market as I shoot this video. But talking about different positions, if I'm going to go long a few positions, I'm going to look for stocks that have momentum, stocks that have drive, stocks that have support. When you're looking at a stock, something like NVIDIA, when you're looking at a stock, something like Tesla that's been ripping higher, Understand you have dip buyers out there. You have the support system. So anytime Nvidia dips, anytime you see Tesla dips, buyers are stepping in at each various level. Now, it doesn't mean you can't short a play, but when you short a play, you want to look for a stock that has downward pressure, downward momentum. Maybe you're looking at oil plays or energy plays, understanding that China is struggling. China is turning more to EVs. China is injecting stimulus into their economy. So you say to yourself, well, if China is struggling and the world economy can perhaps be struggling, maybe their demand for oil will go down, taking energy stocks down with it. Again, a common sense play is strategy play. Along those same lines, if you say to yourself, okay, well, all these Bitcoin ETFs, I'm assuming the SEC isn't going to grant permission to all of these Bitcoin ETFs, but let's just say they do. Fidelity, let's say they give BlackRock the okay, and BlackRock already mentioned that they're going to store their Bitcoin for their funds with Coinbase. And I'm sure others might jump on the bandwagon. So then you say, okay, well, there's a push in Bitcoin. How high can Bitcoin go? Could it go to 30, 32, 33,000? If you believe that is a possibility, then you could look at stocks like Mara and Riot. And yes, they moved 10, 11, 12% yesterday, and they're probably up 3, 4, 5% pre-market, but you're looking for a pullback. Again, if you believe the SEC will grant permission to some of these new ETFs. Now, what else is going on in the world that could affect today's market? Okay, UK inflation came out higher than expected. CPI for the UK came out at 8.7%, higher than the 8.4 expected, and flat against the month over month. Core CPI rose again in May to 7.1, which is up from 6.8% the previous month. So again, what's expected? Rate hike expectations from the Bank of England remain firm now at 25 basis points, taking the rate just under 5 to 4.75%. So we're seeing similar activity in the UK, similar activity in Europe that we are here in the States. Understand that Apple alone, the market capital or the market valuation of Apple market cap at $3 trillion is more than the entire London stock market. Understand the valuation of Apple is more than the entire Russell 2000, which obviously consists of 2,000 stocks. Okay, with that said, we had other companies came out. FedEx came out with earnings. They beat on the top line, earnings per share close to $5. Estimates were $4.89. However, their sales came in about 10% short. So who won yesterday? Puts or calls going into FedEx earnings? I'll tell you who won. The institutions won because they're selling you both the puts and the calls, and they're banking the premium. And if you look at FedEx, I think it was as down as much as 5%, and now it's only down 2 or 3% pre-market. So again, that's not a play that I'm going to make. What did I make yesterday? I went into some Affirm calls. Affirm was under $16 per share. Again, I saw some buying activity. I took a shot with some Affirm calls. So I'll be holding those throughout the week. How did we close Friday? We closed Friday with a rare inside day on the SPY, meaning that there's a lot of indecision in the market. Will the market go higher? Will the market go lower? And again, I used to be a bear. I changed my thought process recently to more of, okay, I understand that there are institutions and investment firms and holding companies and hedge funds that must remain long on the market their entire investment. So what's happening is there's likely rotations. We saw airlines doing quite well. You saw United Airlines from 47 to 53, Delta Airline. You saw Carnival Cruise Line receive a double upgrade 2 weeks ago and move from, $10 and change all the way up to about $16 and change now. Does it mean those plays or those trades are over? No, but I'm going to watch carefully to see if there's any type of sector rotation. Same with energy. Right now, the strongest sectors are going to be electric vehicles and Bitcoin or crypto related stocks right now, as these new ETFs are coming into play. If the SEC approves, then there's going to be a ton more Bitcoin buying, demand versus supply, forcing the price even higher. So again, I'm looking at the price range of really about 34,000. So if Bitcoin pushes up another 10, 12, 14%, you're going to see companies On the smaller end, Mara, Riot, even a Coinbase, perhaps push up as much as 18, 19%. And yes, we've already had a movement of 12 to 14%. So you're adding another 18 or 19%. You're talking about a 33% move in the number of weeks. Now, with that said, people say 33% move. That's pretty ridiculous. That's pretty strong. But understand, you've got stocks that are ripping this year. We've got Tesla that was as low as $100 or $108 a share, back above what, $265. So you're talking about a movement of 164%. You've got Nvidia, which is close to 100% over their 200-day moving average, but still ripping higher. We are at the 200-day moving average when Nvidia was about 412. Now it's closing in on 440. And again, I mentioned that yesterday. Who's to say Nvidia won't rip higher and won't hit 460, 470, 480 before it hits a little rejection area or some giveaway? So with that said, we can talk about a couple other stocks on my watch list. We'll keep it short and sweet this morning. Let's actually talk about the SPY and the SPY ranges to go into it first. Again, I give you my bull case and my bear case scenario. So as the SPY is sitting pre-market at 437.45, we're going to look at dark pool level of the SPY. So let's just get that going. DP levels and SPY. Hopefully that works. I typed it all in caps, so not really sure that's going to work. So let's try it. DP levels, SPY, and there they are. So let's get that on so we can talk about that. So again, the SPY is sitting at 437.50. I'm looking at the dark pool levels and I'm like, okay, well, 436.97. So right below where we closed yesterday. Again, we saw the 434.21 level. We didn't quite touch that. If you joined me yesterday morning, I predicted the low on the SPY yesterday would be about 434.50. Again, we bounced off those 435 levels. I thought we'd go about 50 cents lower. With that said, my prediction was pretty in range. So let's just see. Let's just say we go down to 437 or slightly there under by about 20 or 30 cents. So we go 436.70. If 436.70 ends up being the low today, and I say we're going about 4 points higher, then I think we're going to go and we're going to attack the 440 level on our way to 441. I'll look at the next dark pool level here, 439.74. So again, I'll say to myself, okay, right around 440. So again, my bull case scenario is the market drops and open. We find support right at $436 and maybe like 80 cents, something like that. We go up $4. So you're talking about $440, closer to 441. That's going to be your high side. That's how I plan to trade today. Again, seeing the market buy the dips. That's kind of my thought process. If you want to give a bear case scenario and say, okay, the market's struggling. Matt, you mentioned on Friday you saw big tech being sold off, whether it was Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple. Again, I saw some outflow on Friday, but that reversed itself yesterday. I saw strong support for Amazon. I saw the support for Google, which is why I exited my puts when Google was $122.89. Then Google went back to the 124 range and skipped the whole 123, again, finding some support. So there are different stocks. If I was going to mention stocks that I find support on, again, I have Mara at the top of my list. I've got SoFi Technologies. Why? Because when I look at SoFi Technologies and I see inflow, 3 of the last 5 days, yes, we've seen 2 days of outflow. I see this consolidating at a certain level, and I know that SoFi already ripped past $10 recently. So if I was going to guess where we see SoFi kind of bounce back, here's your 5-day chart. Again, we're looking at sort of a V. I'm thinking SoFi is going to bounce back above $10. Again, I've got a firm holdings on here at $16.10. I spoke about entry yesterday, $15.94. Again, I'm not, the biggest fan of a firm. I wish I'd gotten more involved with Riot and more involved with Mara. You got PayPal, which moved up 3.7% yesterday. Again, the PayPal options that they are buying, and here's your PayPal chart. Again, strong inflow for 2 days in a row. Is it chasing? Yes, but if you buy the dip and you see PayPal come back to where it was on the low side yesterday at $66.78, so let's say $67, and you get that pop back to where we even closed at $69 or $69.25, where we are pre-market this morning, you're talking about 3.8%. So a 3.8% move. If you're buying the dip and selling on the spike, will yield you probably around a 45 to 50% return on your options play. So based on when you get in that options play, when you're attempting to call the bottom, if you call the bottom perfectly, then yes, I'm going to say my strategy would allow me to look for 50% profit. Now, let's say you miss calling the bottom. You're in a PayPal option or whatever option it is, and you pay $1, and that option goes down to 80 cents per contract after that. So you're starting out your position, you're down 20%. If I'm down 20% to start, then I'll say, okay, I'm in at $1, it's at 80 cents. If I got the perfect entry at 80 cents per contract and I'm looking for a 50% play, then I'm looking to sell at $1.20. So again, although my entry at $1 wasn't at 80 cents, wasn't the best entry, I'm using the low on the day to figure out a 50% move to the upside, which tell me my exit strategy should be right around $1.20. Now, again, if I'm looking to nibble, I might go $1.25. Because my entry was $1, because I'm looking for $1.20 to $1.25, I'm only looking for 20 to 25% on that given trade. So again, that's just how I adjust my strategy. Just because my entry isn't perfect, it doesn't change my strategy. It just helps me figure out the best exit strategy. So again, I've got PayPal on there. I've got Square, which is block. Again, it's following a similar pattern to PayPal. It could be consolidation at this level. Again, there's inflow. I'm expecting a spike, perhaps maybe a spike to somewhere close to $70 on Square. Let's remember where Square used to be, PayPal used to be. Then I've got Upstart holding. Again, Upstart was selling after the huge squeeze, after the spike to $40 a share. But if I look at the volume for the past 2 days, volume's been extremely light. So again, I'm expecting another squeeze on Upstart. The same reason I'm in Affirm Technologies. The same reason there are some other plays that are somewhat similar, and I'll get to those as we go down. One of them being Carvana. Carvana up 2.5% pre-market, but off 7.11% yesterday. So when we talk about potential squeezes, when we talk about the automotive industry, when we talk about EVs and China's push to extend tax credits, something that the U.S. is already doing, then I'm looking at all these companies. So anytime I see Carvana off 7 or 8% in a single day, or we can go back to Affirm Technologies off 4%, or Upstart off 10.34%. Again, I'm looking for some type of movement. I didn't realize Mara was up 17% yesterday. 17% yesterday, 5% pre-market. That's 22%. Again, I thought a possible movement of 34 to 35% was possible. So I still think there's 13 or 14% on the sides. We could talk about Alibaba, who's CEO and chairman of the board, announced that he was leaving the company a day and a half ago. So we mentioned that yesterday morning when Alibaba was sitting right around 89. Where did Alibaba close at? 87.93, down 4.53%. When we look at Alibaba this morning, again, it tends to gap down overnight. Now, it'll probably get picked up, and we'll see Alibaba even maybe turn green today, right at that target of probably like $89. However, when you can get in at a discount, that's what you're looking to do. Again, you can't trade options pre-market, but that's just something I'm looking at. Again, Google, been mixed reviews. I found support right at the 123.80 range, is right where we closed at yesterday. So again, I'm out of my Google puts. I did see some selling, but again, this could just be consolidation. It could either rip lower or rip higher depending on the market. So if you think the market is going to lose liquidity, then you're saying Google 122, 121. If you're saying the market's fine and they're going to continue to buy the dip, then you're talking about Google at 125, 126 again. So again, there are two scenarios that can play out. AMD don't really follow. I'm looking at the Russell 2000, which is up 16.16% this morning. Again, and the Russell is more of the smaller cap play. So even though bigger tech could be sold off, there could be some liquidity crunch, there could be some profit taking. Again, these smaller tech Russell 2000 companies are doing and holding up extremely well. What else do I have? I've got Apple on here. Apple 185, not much movement. Again, the Coinbase is at $59 a share. I'd rather be involved with Mara or Riot. Disney, I mentioned at $88 was a buy, so we hit $89.74. It closed towards the low end yesterday. It's up around $90 pre-market. So once Disney decides it wants to retire, I definitely see Disney being able to move from a $90 range all the way to the $99 range. So I'm looking for a 10% move in Disney as long as the market's volatility kind of calms itself over the next couple of weeks. We saw Uber make some massive moves to the upside. What are you going to expect after some massive moves going from $38 to 44? You expect some consolidation. So Uber can definitely go down for another day or two. However, when Uber does get bought up, I expect Uber to be at $45 in no time. So again, it's about finding the right entry, having the right strategy, making sure you're giving yourself more than enough time to be correct. So if I was going to look at, let's say, Uber calls and thought about entering them today or tomorrow, I'm definitely going to go out at least 2 weeks. Why? Because if Uber continues to run, you could see $45. You might even see the higher end of 47 or 48. Again, if there's a drawback and a drawback happens over the next couple of days, you could see Uber give back another 2 or 3% and be around $41, which again, I would just add to an Uber position that I already have open. So when things sell off, when things consolidate, I'm looking to get in. I'm looking to buy the dip. Yes, I used to be a bear. Now I'm just trading without emotions. I'm just trading certain stocks based on the activity that I see. Again, it's more important than ever that you please use the Flow and Algos room. If you're looking for any type of trading idea for today, I like to use the top flows. Top flows being the most active flows in yesterday's market. Maybe it's just top flow. Let's see if that works better. Okay, so if I'm looking at the top flow from yesterday, again, the two stocks that I mentioned to start off this live stream would be Tesla, Nvidia. They are buying the VIX. Understand the VIX, which is the volatility, is under 14. First time in a long time. You've got the Russell 2000, which I mentioned. Of course, you're going to see Apple, Meta, PayPal. You got a cruise line, and then even Mara made it to the list. When you're on the opposite side, you're seeing a couple of Chinese companies, PDD. You're seeing First Solar. You're seeing gold waver because of the dollar. You're seeing Microsoft, which hit an all-time high. Again, you're seeing big tech, which I mentioned on Friday, started to sell off a little, and you're seeing the Russell, which is a smaller tech, move forward and push a little higher. So that's just what I'm looking at. You guys are more than welcome to join me on Discord this morning. I'll be shooting a pre-market video at 9 o'clock. We'll come out with an update around 11:15. And again, your afternoon update somewhere between 1:15 and 1:30 with market direction, how I expect the market to close out today. So just to review and recap again, your bull case scenario is market the SPY dips to 436.80 and shoots up to 440 to 441 to close out the day, giving you a bullish day in the market and maybe like a 0.78% increase, just under 1%. Your bear case scenario is the market gets bought up. We see what we saw the other day, which could be like 439. Let's just see where that dark pool level is. Let's just go back to that dark pool level. 439.74. So 439.74, you see the market get bought up. It's up to where we closed at on Friday, where we opened at, yesterday, which is Tuesday morning, 439 and change, 439.74. You see that dark pool level we're checked, so we don't actually make 440. And then you go down 3.5 points. So you say, okay, we came close to 440, 3.5 points lower would be 436.50. So you can say bear case scenario, downside scenario, 436.50. And yes, yesterday we touched the 435 level. I don't see that happening today. Again, I'm in the camp until the market proves otherwise. I'm looking to buy dips on certain stocks that have strong support. With that said, have a great day of trading. I'll see everybody tomorrow morning. Please thumbs up, like, comment, and